pull into the driveway. You put the car in park. You turn off the ignition. The engine ticks softly as it cools. The headlights fade against the closed garage door. You are home. The commute is over. But you don't unbuckle your seatbelt. You don't reach for the door handle. Instead, you just sit there, in the dim quiet of the dashboard. Maybe you scroll through your phone without really looking at anything. Maybe you let a radio segment play out, one you don't even care about. Or maybe you just sit in complete, heavy silence. 10 minutes pass, sometimes 20. If someone asked what you were doing, you'd probably say you were finishing up an email, or just catching your breath. Something reasonable, something that makes sense. But if you're honest with yourself, really honest, you know what's actually happening. You are not ready to open that door. If you've ever found yourself sitting in a parked car outside your own home, caught somewhere between relief and a strange, quiet dread, I want you to know something straight away. You are not alone in this. And it doesn't mean you don't love the people inside. A lot of men in their mid-40s to late 50s carry a silent, unspoken guilt around this. You look at your front door. You know your partner is on the other side. Maybe your kids. You know, logically, that you should want to walk in, but right now, the thought of opening that door feels like picking up something very heavy. Not because anything is wrong, not because you don't want to be there, but because something in you needs one more minute. Why does a place of rest start to feel like another shift to clock into? Why does the front seat of your car, with the engine off and nobody asking you for anything, feel like the safest place in the world? To understand this, we have to look at what your day actually asks of you. All day long, you have been functioning as something other than yourself. At work, you are a problem solver. You absorb pressure. You make decisions under conditions that don't leave much room for doubt or hesitation. You manage other people's stress while keeping a lid on your own. You are a provider, a figure of competence, someone who is expected to hold things together. And when you finally drive away from that building, you are physically leaving that role behind. But emotionally, your mind is still running. And as you pull closer to home, something shifts. Because you know, without having to think about it, that the moment you walk through that door, a different set of expectations begins. You become a husband, a father, the person who needs to look at the bills, fix the thing that's been broken for 2 weeks, and show up emotionally for people who have had their own long day. You are not going home to rest. You are transitioning from one high-demand environment to another, and those 20 minutes in the car, that is not laziness. That is not avoidance. That is your mind quietly asking for a moment to change gears. Some researchers describe this as transition fatigue, the mental cost of switching between different high-demand roles. Our minds are not designed to snap instantly from one emotional state to another. It takes real cognitive effort to disengage from one set of pressures and pick up another. And for a man who has spent 8 or 10 hours holding himself together for other people, that capacity is already running close to empty by the time he pulls into the driveway. You are not sitting in the car because you are avoiding your family. You are sitting in the car because you are trying to collect the scattered pieces of yourself, so that when you do walk through that door, you can actually be present, not just physically there, but genuinely there. You are waiting for the exhaust to clear. That distinction matters because there's a significant difference between a man who doesn't want to go home and a man who needs 60 seconds of stillness before he can give what his family deserves. Most men in this situation are the second kind. They just don't have a word for it. But there's something else worth sitting with here. Something a little quieter. Think about your life right now and ask yourself honestly, where is the space that is entirely yours? The office belongs to the company. The house belongs to the family, to the schedule, the needs, the noise of people you love, but who also need things from you constantly. But the car is a neutral zone. In that driver's seat, with the engine off, and the world outside going on without you. No one is asking you for a decision. No one is looking to you for reassurance. No one needs anything fixed or answered or managed. For those 20 minutes, you don't have to be strong. You don't have to be competent. You don't even have to be okay. You can just be without performing anything for anyone. This is not a small thing. For a man whose time and energy are divided up and handed out from the moment he wakes up, this small, enclosed, quiet space becomes something close to sacred. Not because it's comfortable, but because it asks nothing of him. It is a man reclaiming a few minutes of himself in the only place left where no one is watching. What makes this harder is that most men have never had a name for this feeling. So instead of being able to say, even to themselves, I need a few minutes before I can be present, they just sit and feel quietly guilty about sitting, and then feel guilty about the guilt. That specific weight, the weight of a man who genuinely loves his family but cannot make himself walk through the door, is real. It is not a character flaw. It is not a sign that something in the marriage is broken or that he has stopped caring. It is what happens when a person has been carrying a great deal for a very long time, in silence, without much room to set it down. The car becomes the only place he is allowed to feel the weight of what he carries. Not to fix it, not to explain it, just to feel it for a moment before picking it back up and going inside. If any of this sounds familiar, the first thing worth doing is setting down the guilt. The driveway ritual is not a failure. It is not a sign of a troubled marriage or a man who doesn't care. It is a natural psychological response. A mind doing what minds do when they have been running at full capacity for too long. Looking for a scene in the day, a moment where the performance can pause. Some men eventually find words for this, not as an excuse, but as something to offer. I need a few minutes before I can really be here. That's a small thing to say, but it can quietly shift something in a household and in a man when the silence is finally given a shape. That is not a prescription, it is just a possibility. Until then, if tonight you need the car,